So usually when we talk about city builders, the goal is more. More land, more skyscrapers, more money, more, well, everything. We're basically cosmic locusts. But then comes Generation Exile, a game that looks at our expand at all costs mindset and says, cool, but what if you literally can't? You're on a generation ship, basically a giant metal thermos, hurtling through the void because, well, we broke Earth. You've got a set amount of space, a set amount of water, and a whole lot of problems. It's a turn-based narrative city builder that's less about being God and more about being, well, a very stressed out janitor for the human race. And honestly, it's pretty cool.
Once I hit you with that bad space, you ain't coming back. No control on the reach, give me space like that. Hit you with that bad space, you ain't coming back.
Let's set the scene. Earth is gone. We tried to fix the environment with genetically engineered organisms called the scale, but they turned into a nightmare and, well, finished the job. Now you're stuck in the maintenance tunnels and biomes of a colony ship. The vibe here is solar punk meets sci-fi horror. It's beautiful, kinda. Lots of greens and vibrant ecosystems. But there's this constant underlying, well, yeah, it's dread. You aren't just building a city, you're trying to keep a fragile ecosystem from collapsing while dealing with the scale that somehow snuck on board. The soundtrack is moody, the art style is sharp, and the writing is heavy. This isn't just a place a house here Monopoly type game. It's a how many crickets do we need to grind up to keep everyone from starving? Game wise, it's turn based. This is huge because it turns the city builder genre into a puzzle. Every move matters. Since you're on a ship, resources are limited. You don't mine more iron. You don't you don't mine more iron, you recycle what you have. There's a massive focus on the closed loop system. You produce waste, well, you better have a building to catch it, or it's going to contaminate your water. You want to tear down a building? For a long time in early access, that left rubble you had to manually clear. Through the 1.0 update, they finally streamlined that, so thankfully that's there. It feels a bit like a board game, think like Catan style. With the hexes. If you put water condenser here, it can fit, the tech lab. But if you don't get water, everyone mutates into a monster. It's high stakes Tetris with the fate of humanity on the line. What really sets Generation Exile apart is that it's a narrative focused. You play it as a specific ship administrator. You got a crew with personalities, specialties, and more importantly, opinions. When you send a team out to build something, it's not just an animation. Their traits can help and hinder the project. You're making choices that actually feel like they have weight. It's not just, do I want +5 gold or +5 food? It's, do I prioritize the long-term survival of the ship's forest? Or do I feed the hungry people right now? It's got a Frostpunk DNA where there's no really good choices. There's just, the least bad ones. But unlike Frostpunk, which is all ice and misery, Generation Exile has this weird radical optimism. It's about finding a way to thrive when the odds are, well, zero. Now, the game just hit 1.0 recently. If you played it in early access, it might have felt a bit short, like a 3-hour proof of concept type. But the full release added a massive final chapter called Planetfall. This is basically the end game where all your choices come home to roost. It functions as a bit of a sandbox challenge mode too, which is exactly what the community was asking for. They polished the UI, added new biomes like the rainforest, and fixed the rubble mechanic that was driving everyone crazy. It feels like a complete package now. Look, if you want a game where you can build a massive metropolis with no consequences, this isn't it. Generation Exile is a game about limits. It's a game about the fact that we can't keep expanding forever. It's smart. It's beautifully written, and it's one of the most unique strategy games I've played in years. It's currently on Steam, So go check it out if you want a CD builder that actually makes you think about the world a little differently. But seriously, don't let the mutants eat your gnomes or crickets. You're really going to need those crickets. So thanks for watching. My name's Jose here at Ether. As always, be kind, love one another, and don't be a dick. See ya.